Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Today is Sunday. There we go. Sunday, December 21st, 2021. Here we are in wonderful Pahrump, Kentucky. Pahrump, Kentucky, you choose. That means what? 6 o'clock. Okay, there we are. On time once again. So it's Sunday morning, about 6 a.m., December 21st, 2025. Summer, I mean, Christmas is almost here. Looks like I kind of have the porcupine look today. Oh well, could be worse, right? It could be worse. Certainly could be better, but it could also be worse. Today we have today is G.school. Talk more about that in a minute. And the topic is, it doesn't move. It doesn't move. So said Martin Luther regarding the earth and its geocentricity. What? Yeah. Kind of an interesting concept. Somebody so close to God, yet God did not tell him, no, the sun doesn't go around the earth. And at this point, you should be saying, what? What is he talking about? Okay, we'll get more into that. But here we are as I'm making my everyday dose out of my everyday dose jar with my everyday dose whipper upper thingamajigga baba babuda bahika. This is the dangerous part here. You really got to regulate this. We're just doing this for posterity. Okay, there's the switch. So now I have the hot drink, coconut oil with that everyday dose. And we're ready to go. Boom. Okay, so today is day 7 in week 3. Day 7, week 3 in our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Right. Tomorrow we start week 4, the last week. It's amazing how fast these 28 days go, right? And we're going to be kind of indirectly talking about this, the baryonic experience, but we're going to come at it from the thing of Luther. Before we do that, though, let's get a couple things going. Advice from an 80-year-old. Advice from an 80-year-old. Do not pray for tasks equal to your powers. Pray for powers equal to your tasks. Right. Please give me the strength to do your will. Help me understand it. Give me the courage and give me the strength. Okay. Do not pray for tasks equal to your powers. Pray for powers equal to your tasks. Next, Seth Godin. Timing your overnight success. If it takes 3 to 5 years for a project to gain traction, it probably doesn't pay to start a project that the world knows it needs right now. So if it's going to take you 3 to 5 years, but the world needs it right now, it's probably not a good time to start that. The challenge is picking something the world will need then. And the hard part is patiently and persistently sticking with it despite the fact that it's not on everyone's agenda yet. Carol Dweck. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is tomorrow. Why not today? Oh, because you can plant it. You can plan, that was pretty good. You can plan to plant it. Okay, timing your overnight success. So the key takeaway there is if it's something that's needed right now, you need to deliver now, not 3 years from now. If it's something that's going to take 3 years, make sure what your idea is 3 years from now, they're still going to need it. Right. And I would say AI is changing things so much and so fast. It's dwarfing what smartphones did. Smartphones took, 10 years. This is going to take 2 or 3. And then we're going to look back and it's going to be like, wow. And then you're going to have those communities popping up of people that say, I want to get away. I want to get back to what it was like when I was a kid. Which for me would mean long periods of time where nobody knew where you were. The Seth Godin thing from the other day. Oh, no, it wasn't that. It was a TED Talk. No, I mean, it was on YouTube, just a little short. Your parents would say, get home, just come home before it's dark. Be home by dark. Nobody would know where you are, out exploring, doing stuff, playing with gasoline. Okay, so What a Bevy, What Not a Bevy is here. Hello, What Not a Bevy. So happy to see you. It's been a while. Got a nice text from Edward this morning. So, how are things? What a Bevy. Happy faces. Happy, 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 happy faces. Okay, good. Excellent. Blessed. Okay, well, we are going to talk about It Doesn't Move. Martin Luther, referring to the heliocentric universe versus the geocentric universe. Somebody that God put on his heart, the Catholic Church is corrupt, it's bad, we need to start over. We need to break away from it. John Calvin, it doesn't move. Today, oops. So we gotta kind of have to reconcile, why wouldn't God tell them something? Why wouldn't God tell them what is true? Why would God have them go down with this check mark, black mark on their record of being on the side of something that today everybody would think it would be cuckoo? If today somebody would go up there and say, the earth doesn't move. The earth doesn't move. The Bible said it. The Bible is inerrant. Here's what the Bible said. Okay, so you can take it to the bank, people, that if you are a Protestant, if you believe in the Protestant Revolution, if you believe that, you must accept that the founders said the sun goes around the earth. The earth does not go around the sun. And they didn't say this in a vacuum. This is right before Copernicus published his stuff. This was circulating. And remember, Copernicus came up with the math. He wasn't the guy who first said the earth goes around the sun. There was this idea was floating around. He's the guy that came up with the math. So for Luther and Calvin and Zwingli and all of these people to say the earth doesn't move because the Bible is inerrant. If the Bible is inerrant, then the earth doesn't move. The question is, why wouldn't God just straighten them out? Guys, yeah, it does move. Copernicus is right. It's such a fundamental thing. Why wouldn't God tell them? Yeah, Copernicus is right. We now have the math. Here's a guy who's got the math to show it. So it's not like people today saying, well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't, this is that. And the Bible isn't a history book. The Bible's not a science book. That's how it's kind of today. That's how we harmonize it today. That's not what the Bible is. These people doubled down. They doubled down on the inerrancy of the Bible. Versus, it is the inspired word of God written by imperfect people. So we're not talking about the Bible anymore today. We're talking about Luther, Calvin, their people, their movements took the position Copernicus was wrong. He had to be wrong because the Bible is inerrant. The earth does not move. Now, if a guy was starting a religion today based upon the inerrancy of the Bible, or let's say some other document that was found, the golden tablets, I don't know, whatever, and tried to say this is the inerrant word of God and the earth does not move, and the earth is less than 10,000 years old, no one, 0.0 rational people would say, yeah, I agree. There's too much science out there. We're not going to go die on that hill. So that begs the question. Is there room for a second Copernican revolution? What do you say, What Not a Bevy? Is there room for another Copernican revolution? Is there room for another Copernican revolution? Always, okay. What is the catalyst for a Copernican type revolution? What's the catalyst? What's the thing that enables it to occur? What would you guess? What's the word I'm looking for? Science. Right. Science is the catalyst. Copernicus used science, math, but science, or as the Europeans would say, maths, because there's different types of mathematics. We say mathematics, but then we abbreviate it to math. The British say mathematics, and they abbreviate it to, or shorten it to, maths. Okay, so what is the thing that enables a second Copernican revolution? Science. What's the science? Cosmology, maybe, perhaps. Perhaps it's cosmology. But let's say it's science. So in here, again, this is for people who left the church or never joined. This is not for people who are saved. If you're saved, take the win and go home. Don't feel you need to dissuade non-Christians from starting down the path. It's one of the main reasons Christian people don't become Christians is because Christians can't even agree with themselves. So how do you expect me to believe in what you believe when you can't even believe, when you guys are arguing with each other? You don't even have the same Bible. You don't have the same interpretation of the Bible. So who are you to say I'm wrong? Okay, so if you are saved, if you have the answers, take the win and encourage people to get into church where they can be properly discipled. That's the very clearly stated goal of this book. It's not a destination. This is a path to get people on the right trajectory, to get people to transform into a better version of themselves. Okay. This is based upon another Copernican revolution. And that Copernican revolution is, the current belief is God created the universe for man. God created the universe for man. The Copernican revolution is God did not create the universe for man. God created the universe for God's purposes, and man is a consequence of that. We're a consequence of that. When God created the universe, the laws of physics and evolution and biology and all of those things were created, and they've been consistent for what looks like about 13.8 billion years. So God set it in motion, not as a clockmaker, not as a gambler playing dice with the universe. He set it in motion to be able to experience what it would happen, just like what guys do when they're in a lab doing experiments. Hey, what happens if we do this? Let's try this. Let's put these things together and see what happens. Versus God created the universe for man. All of this, and now the idea is the universe is like 60 plus billion light years across, which is kind of interesting because it's only 13.8 billion years old. But then Brian Cox, I think he's an astrophysicist, says, but it could be infinite. It could be way bigger than we can even imagine. But right now it looks like it's over 60 billion light years across. And really, on linear math, it should not be more than the radius of the universe should be 13.8 billion years, right? Which would mean the diameter, so it would be about 27, but it looks like it's more than double that size. But the visible universe is the visible universe. All right, anyway. So the extension of it doesn't move, again, for anybody new, that's what Luther said about heliocentrism, about Copernicus, about the idea that the sun doesn't revolve around the earth. Luther, Calvin, the Catholic Church all believed this earth didn't move, everything went around, because that's how it is very clearly described in the Bible, in Genesis. And Copernicus was just trying to say, no, the earth isn't fixed, the sun is fixed. It's this way, not this way. And they said no, and they prayed on it. And God told them, no, the Bible is inerrant. Okay, well, we know it wasn't. Copernican revolution went through. The question is there room for a second Copernican revolution based upon the same thing as the first one, science? What we learn, we have better tools, we have better understanding. And I would say definitely yes, there is the opportunity for a second additional Copernican revolutions. And this one, in this book, Again, disclaimer, this is for non-believers. This is not for people who are saved. This is not a thing to argue with people who are Christians. This is for people who are not, and they're trying to make sense of what's going on. And one thing that makes sense is God didn't create the universe for man 10,000 years ago, as it's described in the Bible. God created the universe 13.8 billion years ago, and one reason why he could create it was because he wanted to. And what would God want to do? If the Bible is true in saying God is spirit, well, God might say, what would it be like to be baryonic? What would it be like to have mass? What would it be like? Let's do an experiment and find out. Let's see what it feels like to be hydrogen atoms, helium atoms, have fusion, have all of this stuff happening, the universe unfolding. That would be the wildest trip of all. But we're out of time. So the question is, why would God have Luther, Calvin, etc., on the one hand, break away from the church and have them argue against something that we people have accepted is true for at least 400 years? Let's just say there's 100 years or a couple generations of people that are saying, no, the Bible is true. Now nobody, no rational person believes the earth is the center of the universe and everything revolves around the earth. No rational person believes that. And I would say in closing, anybody who says that God tells them that, they're not listening, they're not talking to God. They're not talking to the creator of the universe. If that's what they're saying, God told me that the universe revolves around the earth, that the sun revolves around the earth, that the earth is 10,000 years old, that the Bible is my inerrant word, and cut. And cut.